Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWorkBoxing. I'm gonna talk about a couple things in this video. I'm gonna review Richardson Hitchins and AmmoWilliams, JessicaMcCaskill and that decision. And the meat and potatoes of this video is FrankMartin. He provides closure to the ShakurStevenson situation. I still believe that we're talking about apples and oranges, but nevertheless, last night, Richardson Hitchins, he put on a clinic. I mean, I think he showed that he's a consummate professional. He's a boxer. I think that the spotlight and the attention and everything and the stage. I think Eddie learned some things, from dealing with how he managed Devin and what was going on with AJ. And I think that Eddie is growing in that aspect. I think this new roster he has with AmmoWilliams, Regis, Richardson Hitchins, and of course this deal is, that got Devin included fighting up Regis, you know what I'm saying? So I think Eddie has learned, in the way that he's developing his guys. They're not utter mismatches. It was shown and proven that they're not utter mismatches like they were before. Because before, let's be honest, I heard one time that the dude was, he was 6 months removed from being a plumber, supervisor at a plumbing company. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, dang, man, hey, can I get one? Hey, let me get a spot on one of them cars. But I digress. But I think Eddie has grown. And he put on Richardson Hitchins last night, and he put on AmmoWilliams, and we also seen the JessicaMcCaskill. Now, with the JessicaMcCaskill, I said in a previous live, if you check out my live yesterday, I said that I was putting out good energy, and I was pulling for Richardson Hitchins, AmmoWilliams, and JessicaMcCaskill. I didn't know about, but two of them I can guarantee they're going to get, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. JessicaMcCaskill was the question mark. Everybody was talking about, the size, the reach, how much more technical, how much more sound, the youth, a lot of those things. And I think we saw a lot of those things. I believe that Sandy Ryan really won that fight, but again, I think that that's one of those things where they got away with it. And that's one of those things where I say that's the perils of actually being one of those fighters that rely on going the distance all the time, because it's always going to be up into the judge's hands. You can say what you want about, you just want to see the knockout. Fans want to see knockouts, yes. Fans want to see stoppages, yes. But more so, I think, when people say they don't focus on outcomes, that's the outcome of the fight, right? The knockout or the stoppage. But what's really happening during the fight is that somebody is figuring somebody out, or they are taking the opportunity to get rid of their opponent. That's why I say don't leave it to the judge's hands. A lot of my favorite fighters, they have that natural instinct to close. Like if they see you hurt, they're going to pounce on you and get you out of there. That's the very same thing that I said when it came down to Bud and Spence. I said, I call him the closer. It's like if he smell blood, you know what I'm saying? He's going to get on you. He's going to jump on you. Gary Antoine, he's going to jump on you. Tank, he pretty much already figured out. So once he commit, he's going to jump on you and get you out of there. This era where you can go to the judges and as long as I box and stick and move and this and this and this, unless it's like a clearly dominant performance, a shutout where your partner's looking busted up, bruised, banged up, just look like you just, you know what I'm saying, just had your way with them the whole time. With limited onslaughts of being attacked. Unless that happens, they can rob you. Now, I'm happy for JessicaMcCaskill that she got the draw. I was pulling for her to get the win. She got the draw. I'm thinking she should be happy with that, and she gets a rematch so she can go back to the drawing board, figure out some things. I think that next fight will be better. Now, what that's going to do for Sandy Ryan is that's actually going to make her go back, work even more harder. But she handled that like class. Everything from the outfit she had, everything to, you know, how she came out, the ring entrance, you know, to how she actually boxed. I was really, really impressed with Sandy Ryan. And in my heart of hearts, she won that fight. But she handled it with such class. You know what I'm saying? Like, she handled it with such class and she was realistic, and she's open for a rematch. That was the JessicaMcCaskill fight. Moving on to AmmoWilliams. AmmoWilliams, I thought that he was actually going to explode on Steve Rose and he was going to get him out of there. I realized that there are some still some chinks in the armor when it comes to AmmoWilliams. But I think that it was a good win for him, a good victory, because that guy had only lost to Berlanga and Triple G. Ammo is kind of, I don't know, I think the commentators kind of was like spot on last night when they were actually calling that fight, saying that there were laws or lapses in the fight. And I don't know if it was one of those things where they thought that Steve Rose was going to gas out, but I think with the characteristics of Steve Rose, where it's nothing real flashy, everything is real, you know, pretty much technical. Everything is pretty much technical, but a guy like that, a gentleman like that, you know, with that kind of age, you got to know that they were going to be in shape. If anything, they're going to be in shape. The ones with the talent don't just jump off the page. Their marquee foundation of how they do business is to make sure that their strength and their condition is on point. And another thing is, I think that this, if AmmoWilliams walk away from this fight, because I was a little nervous a couple times. It was, you know, those scorecards could have went. I mean, even though every time AmmoWilliams really touched Steve Rose, it was like he was like exploding him. I thought that he was torturing him a little bit. It's like, man, go ahead and get it over with. But Steve Rose wasn't that kind of guy. He wasn't just going to lay down. So I think that what Ammo may have taken from this, or what, if I was his coach or somebody that could give him a little, you know what I'm saying, hey, come here real quick, is Steve Rose was very effective at being very concise and very straight down the middle. A lot of time when I see these fights, man, these people that's, you know, consumed with just, you know, doing all these, you know, wild and cocking back, man, sometimes, man, it's the fact that you can get out the way of the punch and immediately commit to where you torque. You can either, if you got a lot of time, you can do that, or you can just dip and then straight down with everything you got. A snapping, like if you're doing that punch like 1,000 times a day, man, you should be able to land that. So I think that what Ammo could have picked up from this fight was that sometimes he need to work on his straight down the middle, his concise, his quick, you know what I'm saying, his quick boom, like his quick punch, like with being like, and there's some moves like going in, like getting inside, like the way he comes in, Steve Rose was able to time him. So although he did get, like, you know what I'm saying, like he got the decision, you know what I'm saying, he got a good decision, you know. I think that a lot of people watching that fight was saying, okay, hold on, let's slow down a little bit. I do believe in AmmoWilliams. I think that fight can do wonders for him. I don't know what he's going to do when he go back to the drawing board. I know before the fight he spoke about harnessing his power and not just using it. And I did see him trying to harness it. But now I think that he got to find that comfortable medium, because at points in times he was a little bit reserved. And it was points in times where he had put together a couple combinations, and the way he got in and landed, if he was just a little bit more technical, if he was a little bit more concise, he could have been able to do that all night. Because Steve Rose was, again, just waiting to just time him straight down the middle with that right hand. You know, that's the southpaw killer. You know what I'm saying? We always got to be looking for that right hand no matter where we at. And if you can throw that thing straight, concise, bow, snapping straight down the middle, you know what I'm saying, you can get the job done. So salute to AmmoWilliams for getting the win. I know that he saw some things that he can clean up on and you know, and do what he needed to do. Moving on to Richardson Hitchins. He put on the clinic last night. It was an ultimate shutout. I mean, it was a point in time where I was just like, man, it's like I was thinking, man, is he just really trying to torture this man? He busted him up, he banging him up, he was moving, like he was quick on his feet, his step back. I think the step back is one of the most critical things that a lot of boxers just have not mastered. If you know how to step back properly, off of the angle, getting off the line, if you know how to step back and be in position to where as soon as your opponent stop when they come in and realize, hey, if you're able to stop on a diamond, once again, be straight, concise, straight down the middle, it's very effective. We saw Richardson Hitchins do everything that he needed to do to Jose Zepeda. And a lot of people, I was looking in the minds of the critics would have said, hey, well, Regis just went in there and Regis went to war, but Regis is the kind of guy that is more willing to take chances. You know what I'm saying? Coach Kenny talk about that all the time, man. It's like, when it comes down for skill to skill, mano to mano, whatever, even if you don't have as much power, you gotta be willing to take chances. But they're calculated risks, and when you know what you're doing, you can take those chances and get somebody out of there. In the post-fight interview, Richardson Hitchins said, look, I already knew I had it running away. Pretty much, it was a clinic. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see, and adjust and make him show him that it was levels. He was like, I didn't want it. He said, I knew that, I think he said he had a big left, and he was like, I didn't want to take any chances at some point because, he pretty much felt something. He was like, yeah, this guy still, and he said he knew that he was waiting for one thing, and he wasn't going to give him that opportunity. That's just like the performance where Edwin La Granada de los Santos, when he was fighting Adorno not too long ago, I believe it was the same kind of thing. He had realized early on he could pretty much do whatever he wanted at will. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think Richardson Hitchins put on even more of a clinic, it's just La Granada, he's the grenade. He has that power. So it was really like, hey, Joseph Adorno was really surviving, but he made it look good, and I think that La Granada didn't want to make any mistakes. That's what these young boxers are realizing. Now with performances the way they perform, how dominant they were in their performances, a judge can't rob you. But if you're gonna box and keep it all 36 minutes, you gotta make it be utterly dominant. Like where even on the numbers, even when you go back and look at the numbers gotta be in your favor all the way around. If not, we saw what happened in that Sandy Ryan and JessicaMcCaskill, how, you know what I'm saying, the judgment that was rendered didn't really line up to the fight, but both parties handled it. Both parties didn't make a big stink about it. I think the crowd made a big stink about it. I mean, people watching was looking like they made a big stink about it. But that's all those fighters, man. JessicaMcCaskill got the draw. Richardson Hitchins put on a dominant performance, a step up. You know what I'm saying? I think he did make a statement, even though he didn't get the stoppage or the knockout. I think he put a lot on film to say, hey, man, that's why people are not running up on him trying to make a fight. Where's the love? Can he get a Montana Love next? You know what I'm saying? Can we get Love in the mix next? Who knows? He's saying he's barking on title contention. But I want to get down to the nitty gritty, man. FrankMartin, man, the ghost. You know what I'm saying? I rock with Frank. I ride with Frank. I do videos about Frank. I promote Frank all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm man down. So, I feel like, man, you got my energy and support. And I know how it is, man. I know how hard it is to please fans and try to still, be the consummate professional and everything. But what I believe that what Frank did in this recent interview, and salute to the queens, you know what I'm saying, of the ring for getting that interview. You know what I'm saying? I got to cite credit where I got it from. That's where I saw it at. But I was doing I had put out a video saying that he needed to sit down with Brian Custer, you know what I'm saying, a minute ago. And in this, I was reasoning that, man, somebody with a level head, somebody that's going to ask the tough questions, you know what I'm saying, and really dig in, needed to sit down with him. Now, I think there was some tough questions asked, but then I saw some spoon feeding of some answers there as well. But I think that more so, not to nitpick with that, more so when I look at it, when I look at the bold print and the value of what that interview gave me, it's like, it gave boxing fans closure, man. It's exactly what it was. Somebody from the team, he said somebody from the team accepted the deal. He saw it, the numbers wasn't right. In his opinion, when he thought it all, he's like, nah, I ain't with it. That's just what he said. Now, people who can relate to a boxer in their future in the perils of having one bad night or getting hit with one punch, understand that wholeheartedly. No harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? It was a business decision. And who am I to tell you how to run your business? So I'm with Frank on that. If he saw that, if somebody from the team said that, and he saw that, and personally he said, hey, I know my worth, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just going to be to where just one person going to eat off of something like this, because it's an opportunity for both of us, and it's a vacant. You know what I'm saying? I understand all of that, but I can compartmentalize. So let's take that and let's sit that right there. The other aspect of this is are people that's going to say, okay, well, if the team accepted it, who know more about business pretty much than you do, if they accepted it, and then you see it and you say, nah, I ain't with it, by the letter of the law, that's a pullout. So you accepted the contract under the terms, you accepted it, somebody accepted it, so the fight was going forward, and then you say, nah, and then you void, you know what I'm saying? You pretty much void it out, like, nah, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not good with that. That's called a pullout. So I think that getting out ahead of it and actually speaking to it was a good thing, but you're still going to have those people who are going to be justified in saying that that's a pullout. Technically, by the letter of the law, that's a pullout. Now, if you use some understanding, if you break it down and you know what I'm saying, really use a critical eye at it, it's like that was the business decision for Frank. You know what I'm saying? The whole issue with all of this is that people are still piggybacking off of the elephants in the room, man. Bud and Spence, man. Everybody that's on this side, like it's you know, I don't even want to say it's an organization, but philosophically, everybody who was on the whole, you know, anybody over here with PBC, they're gonna say that's justified and it's no way, and you know, Shakur's a liar. That's what they're gonna say, and it's kind of sad because nobody's really giving it no like a critical eye and being honest. You know what I'm saying? Frank made a business decision. Shakur made a business decision. They both need to be looked at, but they're apples and oranges. And this is the big thing that I'm saying. Like, for all the historians who like talking about boxing and who like, you know, put a lot of value in the belts and the history and all that, it was a time where there was not that many belts. The point in time where it was only one belt. You know what I'm saying? There was not all these different weight divisions, right? So it's in an era now where there's so many belts. You know what I'm saying? There's 4 main belts, and then people, you know, tag on the ring, you know what I'm saying, which is 5. People saying, I got 5 belts, like whatever. Okay, cool. It's really 4 belts. And then if you want to count the ring, you got the ring. You know what I'm saying? That's where the big players, you know what I'm saying, that's what everybody have their eyes on. That's what everybody's looking at. That's what everybody desire. Those, right? That's what it boiled down to. Each division, 4 belts. That's what it is. With that being said, a lot of the criticism that Devin got, and I saw a little bit of the variance there in the interview, was the perception of Devin actually going to go get. He got mailed one. So they glazed on and said, no, because somebody was saying, nobody fought for that. He's like, yeah, it's a vacant, man. We got to go fight for it. It's like, yeah. But the circumstances with Devin Haney was that somebody tossed him one. You know, like what Loma did and how Devin got his belt, that's what Devin just did for Shakur to get his belt. And by the letter of the law, he went to the WBC to say, all right, look, this is what he tried to offer me. I want to enact this mandatory and let y'all decide what's going on. I always bring up the Jamel Herring illustration, whether it was right, wrong, the numbers, whether you agree as business or whatever. It went down. Jamel Herring made a business decision. They averaged his last 3 paydays and said, hey, boom, this is what we giving you. And boom, that's what, you know what I'm saying? That's how they did that. That's how he was able to flip that. He did the same thing by using his opportunity to go and say, hey, yeah, dictate this. And Devin had already had a fight with Regis. Regis said he signed this thing like over 6 weeks ago. And then let's not bring up the whole Tank thing. This whole thing is apples and oranges, but if anything that you gather from me in this, I say that it is better. I'm one of the only ones, because everybody say, oh man, they want to say 25%, 825. I played that 825, you know what I'm saying, the other day, and it didn't hit, man. It wasn't legit. I played that number. But in the grand scheme of things, it's actually good that two people are going to fight and get this belt. Two people are going to fight and get this belt. Because one of the biggest criticisms is that you can get a belt, you can fight one time and get all of the belts. To me, that's like, come on, man. Like, do you work with people like that who always taking an easy route? Like, people who just don't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, when you talking about working, like, when you talk about equity and value, because I gotta ask you, who's the money man? In prize fighting, who's the money man? Tank Davis, right? So if Tank Davis the money man and all he has is a secondary belt, like, so in that arena, when you talking about getting the big fish and you know all this and this and this, because you gotta ask yourself, how much in value, how much money did having all those belts get Devin? No, it leveraged him in the game to be able to continue to get fights. That's the part that I admire about the Devin Haney camp. He using his leverage to get fights, to stay relevant. But as far as the game and the grand scheme of things, when you talking about levels of competition and this and this and that, he beat the man that beat the man. When everybody look at Kambosos, you can deduct if you had any kind of reasonableness about you. You know, if you had any kind of level head, you would say, man, when T.O. had a bad night. He was struggling with the weight thing. It impacted him more. So, by the fact that this, I called it restoring order. Whoever's going to go fight for that belt, if it's Shakur and De Los Santos, they'll be restoring order because that'll be a belt that two people had got in the ring and fought for. And it's stamped. So Devin tossed his belt. He said, I'm going up to Regis. That's what cleaned it up for him. But even in them situations, people can't defend it. Devin could have dug Shakur and also going to go get the best fight and the best smoke and have the most admirable fight next. Yes, he could. Even though the fans wanted to see Tank and Devin, you can say that, yes, he did that. But at the end of the day, the Shakur Stevenson and the FrankMartin thing is apples and oranges. I'm glad for Frank that he got out there and he cleared it up. But if you turn down something saying, no, you wanted more money and you thought you could do this, and people are saying, oh, no, Shakur wanted more money because he wanted to do this. No matter whatever you say, they're both the same things, even though that's apples and oranges. One person said no. One person said, all right, well, I'm going to have them negotiate what the pay is. And the other person said, nah, well, I'm out. Two totally different situations. So I appreciate the closure. I still support Frank and I'm a ride, but it's a lot of tribalism out here, man. You're not really going to get people with a critical eye. Nobody want to get perceived as being like an outlaw or a contrarian all the time, but we got to look at it, man. I see a lot of parrots out here echoing the same thing over and over again, man. So Frank gave us closure. Salute to Frank for doing that. You know what I'm saying? He cleared up that he's still with the team. He's still with Derrick James. And this was not a fact because in the Devin Haney and Shakur, we got written record. We got video of Devin saying, that's not in a fight that I'm in a rush to make when it comes to Shakur. He's on record. I've played it on my channel. We know that Frank would have wanted that smoke. So let's not get it twisted. It's not that Frank wouldn't want to got that smoke. And it's not that we believed how Shakur was calling him out his name, that was right and exact. That wasn't right and exact. You don't got no business calling that man out his name like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a totally different subject. They're apples and oranges. So are you dealing with perception or reality? That's how I feel, man. Salute to Frank, salute to Shakur, you know what I'm saying? They got big and better things. I think this announcement getting ready to come out about Tank. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm waiting for. But thanks for everybody who tuned in and watched this video here at BodyWorkBoxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.